I want to start the class in a comfortable seat, so whatever that looks like for you. You could be either in Virasana, so on your shins, your sit bones towards your heels, or you could be like Dimitra in Sukhasana, cross-legged pose. As long as your spine is long and you feel comfortable, then whatever you're sitting in is great. So having your tailbone rooting down towards the mat, crown of your head ascending up towards the sky, and starting to connect with your breath. If it feels good for you, you could bring one hand over your heart and the other hand over your lower belly to start to observe your breath and exploring the subtleties of your body. Observing if you feel any tension. Not trying to control your breath too much at the start, but just being aware of it. Using this moment now to set an intention for your class, maybe a dedication. I personally like to reflect on what brings me to yoga, my purpose for practicing. I believe that having a strong enough reason for why you do what you do will help to give you the energy to stay committed to your practice, to come back to the mat even when it's not easy, when it's difficult, because that's often when we need it most. Here it is for a few more deep breaths, allowing whatever the day has offered you to wash away, to connect with right now. Take one full deep inhale, expanding your lower belly, your rib cage, your chest. And exhale, sigh through your mouth. Let's do one more just like that. Full breath in. And exhale, let it out. Coming into tabletop, shifting your weight forward. Coming into all fours. Your shoulders are stacked over your wrists, your hips, or over your knees. Take the first couple breaths here to move intuitively in any way that your body's asking for. So you could bring your weight into your wrists, circling your hips, maybe bending side to side. This is an opportunity for you to explore what you need, connecting your body. And when you're ready, coming back to tabletop, we're going to move through a few cycles of cat-cow. On your inhale, your belly will lower towards the mat, your chest broadens, and your gaze comes up. On your exhale, round your back, press through your hands and draw your chin towards your chest, like an angry cat. Inhale, shifting through, chest comes up and broaden. Exhale, round your spine, draw your navel towards your spine. Do two more at your own pace, connecting your breath with your movements and allowing this to be consistent throughout practice. After your next exhale, you can come back to neutral spine. Moving through a few rounds of core exercises, we're going to inhale our right arm forward and up, extending in front of you. if that feels okay and you'd like to explore this further, you can draw your left heel back and up. Focus on keeping your hips level and lengthen your hand away from your heel and your heel away from your hand. Keep your core contained here and strong. Breathe in deeply. On your next inhale, bring your right hand out to the right and your left leg out to the left. Keeping your leg elevated as you can, your core strong. Inhale back to center. And on your exhale, round your back, draw your right elbow towards your left knee, and bring it all into the center. Inhale, lengthen and reach. Exhale, round, everything coming to midline. Last one, inhale, extend. Exhale, knee comes down, hand comes down, back onto the mat. Moving to the other side when you're ready. On your inhale, draw your left hand up and forward, and then your right heel back and up. Feeling your whole body lengthen as you reach opposite directions. One more full cycle of breath through your nose here. And when you're ready, drawing your right foot out to the side and your left hand reaching away from each other. Feeling the activation of your right glute. On your next inhale, come back to center, reaching away from each other. On your exhale, round your spine, draw elbow to knee, chin comes in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw everything in. Last one, inhale, lengthen. And on your exhale, your hand and your knee come down. Spread your fingers wide, your index finger and thumb rooted into the mat. And when you're ready, tuck your toes, lift your sit bones up and back for downward facing dog. Take your first few breaths here to take some movement, to find the foundations of your posture. Your feet are hip distance apart and your hands are shoulder distance to mat distance apart. You can have a soft bend in your knees. And after you feel like you've got some good movement there, finding stillness for 3 cycles of breath. Feeling length through your spine by lifting your sit bone up towards the sky. And then actively pressing your heels towards the mat. It's okay if your heels don't reach down. And actively drawing your inner leg on back. Good. On your inhale, bend your knees, look between your hands, and slowly walk or step up to your hands. Once you get to there, inhale, halfway lift, your spine is long, your crown of your head is facing forward, and exhale, fold over your legs. Slowly on your inhale, coming up, stacking 1 vertebrae at a time. Your head is heavy, your arms heavy, your neck is relaxed. Once you get to the top, draw your shoulders back and down. Your hands come by your side, fingertips reaching towards the mat. And close your eyes for Samastitihi, equal standing pose. Feel the activation of your feet grounding into the mat. Your crown of your head ascending towards the sky, feeling length and energy through your whole body. On your next inhale, with your feet pressing into the mat, raise your arms forward and up towards the sky, gazing up towards your fingertips. Exhale, your hands come down the same way in front of you. This time, inhale your arms out to the side Again, connecting above your head and gaze is up to your fingertips. Exhale, arms to the side. Feel the difference in your shoulder to these two different movements, and either one is good. So throughout your practice, you can take either option. Inhale, arms come up to the sky, gaze is up, feel the length through your whole body. Exhale, soft bend your knees, fold over your legs. Hands can either be on the mat or shins. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. So your feet come towards the back of the mat. Staying in plank. Option to drop your knees at any time. If you have any pain in your wrists, you could drop onto your forearms. Keeping strength throughout your whole body, your heels pressing away, your crown of your head pushing forward, feeling lots of stability here. Again, option to drop your knees as you lower all the way down onto your mat, keeping your elbows towards your sides. First option, bringing the tops of your feet down onto the mat. Hands are still by your chest. Inhale, peel your chest off of the mat. Your gaze is slightly in front of you for low cobra. Keeping your neck long. Exhale all the way down onto the mat. This time you could either do the same option or inhale, press through your hands, lifting, lengthening out your arms and lifting your chest higher for either high cobra or pressing into your tops of your feet, lifting your sit bones, your hips off of the mat for upward facing dog. Stay here for a breath. And on your next exhale, tuck your toes under, lift your sit bones up and back for downward facing dog. Remember that this is your practice and I am just your guide. So take the options that works best for you. One of the things that I really appreciated about the Bhagavad Gita was talking about how it's not what you do, but it's how you do it. And so I've really incorporated that into my practice and encourage students to do the same as well. So focusing on how you do the posture instead of what it looks like. On your next inhale, draw your right heel up and back, keeping your hips level for downward dog splits. Feel the energy pressing through your hands all the way through your heel, pressing towards the back of the room. On your next exhale, draw your knee towards your nose, and then step your right foot between your hands. Drop your left knee onto the mat, top of your foot comes down. Inhale up to your low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Feeling length through your spine, your core is engaged to protect your back on any back bends here. If it feels good, you can invite a gentle back bend here. Hips are square to the front of the mat. Length through the side body, but shoulders are relaxed. On your next exhale, drop your hands down to the mat. Shift your sit bones back and lengthen out your front leg for half splits. You can have a soft bend in your knee if that feels good, or you can actively draw your toes of your front foot towards you to bring a little bit more activation to your leg. If you have props, you could have your hands on props to help it so that you're not rounding too much in your back and your shoulders. Inhale, shift your weight forward. We're going to pivot onto our back foot, bring our foot so it's parallel with the back of the mat. And then inhale, windmill up to warrior two. So your right knee is stacked over your right ankle. Your right thigh is drawn underneath you so that your right knee isn't dropping in and that your right knee is stacked and you can see your big toe of your front foot. Hips and chest are square to the left side of the room and your legs are engaged. 2 more breaths here. Relax your shoulders down, but keep your fingers reaching away from each other as you gaze over your right fingertips. On your inhale, drop your right forearm onto your right thigh. On your exhale, bring your left hand over top, reaching towards the front of the room for extended side angle. The outside of your left foot is pressing into the mat so that you feel length all the way from the left foot out through your right fingertips. Gaze can be up towards the sky like Dimitra is doing here. Chest is continuing to open up, right ribs drawn forward and left ribs drawn back. On your exhale, drop both hands down to the mat, pivot onto the ball of your back foot and step back, moving through your vinyasa. So either low push-up or all the way down. Inhale, pull your chest through and up for upward facing dog or cobra, and then exhale, tuck your toes, go back to downward facing dog. One cycle of breath here. Inhale, your left heel comes up towards the sky, pressing towards the back of the room. Hips continue to stay level. Your hands are engaging into the mat. On your exhale, left knee towards your nose and step your left foot between your hands. Drop your back knee down. Inhale up to your low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Keeping that lift through your side body, shoulders relaxed, and a gentle engagement of your core. Staying with your breath here. I feel very fortunate to have a demonstration today. It's a lot easier when you don't have to be practicing and can actually breathe. On your exhale, hands come down to the mat. Lengthen out your right or your left leg for half splits, drawing your sit bones back. Taking the same option, if you want to make it more passive, you can let yourself relax fully here. If you'd like to make it a bit more active, draw your toes towards your head. Two more cycles of breath. Taking any subtle movements that you want that help you explore your body a bit further. On your next inhale, shift your weight forward, bending into your front left knee. Pivot your back foot so that your foot is parallel with the back of the mat, and inhale with strong legs up to Warrior Two. So keeping that same foundations as last side, rooted through your feet, drawing your left thigh under and making sure that you can see the front big toe. You could draw your torso back so it's aligned with your hips and relax your shoulders now. Reaching away from both your hands. One more breath here. On your inhale, drop your left forearm onto your left thigh, reach your right fingertips forward on your exhale. Being strong in your core and making it so that you're not putting too much weight into your left thigh. Your stance is a bit long here. You can draw your, perfect. One more breath here. Length through your whole side body. And on your exhale, hands come down to the mat, step back, move through your vinyasa. Inhale, shift forward and up, chest broadens, gaze is up. Exhale, tuck your toes, sit bones back, downward facing dog. And when you're ready, you can drop your knees down onto the mat, cross your shins, and bring your feet forward. We're going to move into a quick boat pose here. Normally I would do 5 rounds, but we'll just do 1 good round here. So bringing intention to it. Focus your attention on your core, trying to bring the activation there rather than allowing your quads to take over here. Your chest stays broadened. Option to have your knees bent, if that feels better. I'll take that option. Dimitri can be the full expression. Lift your chest a little higher. Good, and we'll slowly lower it down for 3, 2, staying strong, 1, and relax all the way down onto your mat. Taking a moment here to allow your breath to settle. You can bring the soles of your feet down onto the mat, drawing your heels towards your sit bones like Dimitri has here. We're going to do 1 round of back bends here. Bringing your arms by your side, your triceps press into the mat and pull your hips up towards the sky. Pressing into your feet, having your chest come towards your chin rather than drawing your chin towards your chest. Feel your legs are active and you're pressing through the big toes of your feet so that your knees are staying drawn together. Imagine having a block between your knees. Maybe you even have a block at home. It's a great option. Feel that lift of your spine. Option, because we're only taking 1, we're going to hold it for a few extra breaths. Option to come out of it at any time. Option to interlace your hands behind your back. This is a really deep heart opener and helps us to build courage. And when you're ready, you can release your hands if you're interlaced, slowly rolling down 1 vertebrae at a time. Hug your knees in towards your chest. You probably can hear the dogs barking. That's part of yoga, learning to be okay with whatever comes. And if it feels good for you, you can bring your hands to the outsides of your feet for happy baby, drawing your knees towards your armpits. I really encourage you to explore your body in what way feels good. So if you feel like lengthening 1 leg out at a time, shifting side to side, if it feels good, you're doing it right. And when you're ready, you can bring the soles of your feet back onto the mat. We're going to finish off with a twist. So a couple options. You could either just bring your knees back up to your chest and drop your knees over to the right with your arms at a T or cactus arms. Or you could cross your left leg over your right before dropping your knees over to the right side for eagle legs. Your gaze is either up towards the sky or it's over your left shoulder. Few deep breaths here, allowing your spine to relax. Your left shoulder is heavy towards the mat. And remember, if this is too much for your neck, it's a great option to just gaze up. Allow your breath to be soft. If your mind is wandering, bring it back to the present moment. On your inhale, bring your knees back to center. Uncrossing your legs if you had them crossed, and then crossing over to the other side before you drop your knees over to the left on your exhale. Remember that in any yoga practice, you have a few tools at your on your belt to be able to help calm your mind. In the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali says that yoga is chitta vritti nirodha, which is ceasing the fluctuations of your mind. And the ways that we can do that, our first one is asana. The posture helps us to bring to the present moment. The second is our breath. And the third is where our focus is, our gaze. And in postures like this, I invite you to close your eyes and bring the focus inward. Just a couple more cycles here. When you're ready, you can bring your knees back to center. Uncrossing your legs and hug your knees in one more time, wrapping your arms around your shins, taking any last movements you'd like to before moving into Shavasana. Your feet and legs can be mat distance, your arms by your side. Allow your shoulders to totally melt into the mat. Your hips are relaxed. Your neck is long. And your eyes are closed.